With the AEW roster expecting a former WWE star and more, this is Wrestling Up. My name is John and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Wrestling Hub Official and follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. Reacting to Dustin Rhodes claiming 2023 will be his last year in the ring, AEW President Tony Khan told the Sports Guys Talking Wrestling podcast, Dustin Rhodes is one of the best pro wrestlers in my lifetime. I've been looking up to Dustin Rhodes since I first started watching pro wrestling. He's one of the first wrestlers I ever saw, and throughout his career, he's maintained a really high standard of excellence. Physical fitness right now is at a premium. I think Dustin right now, these last 10 years, is in much better shape than he was in the decade prior to that, which is unusual, and his staying power, his longevity, is also really unusual. To have somebody doing some of their best wrestling at this advanced age, it's unusual. I think Dustin could continue on for many years and wrestle at a very high standard for a long time to come. I respect the hell out of Dustin Rhodes. I can tell you also respect the hell out of him. He's just a tremendous wrestler, and I think he's somebody that really for AEW since the very beginning has been very important on screen and off screen. Recalling his tryout for WWE, AEW Tag Team Champion Max Caster would make an interesting revelation as he told the AJ Awesome Show, well, it's a really tough sport. Pro wrestling is the toughest sport imaginable. You know, you could have NFL athletes come in and try and do a wrestling match, and they can't make it through. I did a tryout at WWE, and we had world-class athletes. I'm a professional wrestler. I played high school football, but nothing in college. No pros. And we had professional athletes in there, and they couldn't handle the first day. People walked out. So it's a tough sport, but it is all about being patient, persevering. But it's a hard sport, but it's very rewarding because it's one of the only sports where you can look around and take time and see all the people and feel what they're feeling. Big arenas, stadiums, you can take a second, look around, and you can take the temperature of the room. Speaking about the news of Mandy Rose earning $1 million on Fan Time last year, Booker T noted on his Hall of Fame podcast, $1 million ain't gonna take care of you for a solid year if you're living large. I think Rose launching a Fan Time account was the wrong decision, and I stand by that because I feel that Mandy Rose's talent was so much more than her beauty. Remembering Bray Wyatt's early days in WWE, Ricky Steamboat, who was a coach in FCW at the time, mentioned how Wyatt had trouble coming up with a character initially. I liked the way how Bray Wyatt thought because he was always thinking about how he could get better, and he wasn't the type of guy to give up. I don't know about now, but then during his time in FCW, he could adapt. He got called up, and I don't remember his first couple of characters, but the higher-ups didn't like the character, so they sent him back down. So he came up with the idea to be a different character, and he would be called up to take a look, but they didn't like it, so they sent him back down. Then I think it was around the third time when he did this Louisiana type swamp guy, Bray Wyatt, and that clicked. Charlotte Flair recently made her return to WWE on Smackdown and defeated Ronda Rousey to become champion, but it seems Ric Flair did not know she would be there, revealing on his podcast that I was in the building and left and didn't know it. It was the first time in so many years that nobody knew. I was in the building. I went and saw Roman and John, and it was like the greatest time. I mean, I just really felt like part of the family again, man. I just had a ball, but I didn't even know. I left and went to American Social. Then I got word that she was there. Of course, I had had a couple of drinks with the hockey players. The hockey players like to drink, so I wasn't going to go back to the building, but I mean, I watched it and they put it on every TV for me. It was amazing. That was really old school kayfabe. I'm thinking to myself how cool that was because I don't remember that happening for a long time when there wasn't even an inkling of something like that. Then I'm reading in one of those wrestling things. The next thing is Bianca Belair is going to lose the belt to Becky Lynch, and Becky Lynch is going to wrestle Rhea Ripley, and it just goes on and on. If any of that is true, I hope they don't beat Bianca, but if they do, I mean, it doesn't make any difference. It just goes to show you, if they really have their mindset on doing something and they keep it on the QT, they can do it. I think personally it's so much better for wrestling when they can do stuff like that and everybody can keep their mouth shut, because God only knows that's why she wouldn't tell me. She knows I got a big mouth and she knows I would tell you. With Dax Harwood claiming that Road Dogg did not thank him and Cash Wheeler backstage after putting DX over during the Raw 25 show, Road Dogg has now responded on ad-free shows. I understand, I hear you, Dax. I don't know what we're to say here or where we're to go. Like, we started off on the wrong foot and we ain't got on the right one yet. I'm willing to put the past behind me for sure, but as far as the Raw 25 thing goes, like, I'm sorry. I really am too that I didn't thank you, because I don't feel like that's like me. But I also at the same time thought like, well, do you need that? You know what you did. You went out there and you did what you were supposed to do, and you did it really well. I didn't know I needed to thank you and say how great you were in order to get your respect as a human being, but I do apologize for not thanking you, and I thank you now publicly for doing that for us. But don't act like you're above that, because you were in the ring with a bunch of Hall of Famers, man, and I know you don't like me, but I was in the ring and I'm a Hall of Famer, and I was one of those guys, and I'm sorry if that offends you or if I don't respect them mad enough for you, but I got a different idea about pro wrestling than you do. Mine's the one that makes a bunch of money, and yours is the one that pleases all the boys. I don't know, poop in one hand and wish in the other, but we can get past this. We just can't talk about politics or wrestling with each other, I don't think. And actually, our politics probably align too. There's so many similarities. We're gonna let this little thing hold us back from, I don't know. I'd love to be on your podcast. I'd love to have you on my podcast. I think this is an invitation to heal the world. Start with the man in the mirror, and I'm damn sure willing to look at me. Are you willing to look at you? Let's move forward and let's get past the gripes of yesterday and make this better and do better as people. If I've done something to offend you, like I said earlier, if some of this is mine to own, I own my half. Do you own yours? As William Regal previously noted that he had his final day with AEW, it seems he has made his return to WWE, with it reported that PWInsider.com has told that William Regal 54 is officially back with World Wrestling Entertainment as of this morning. Regal broke into the business in Europe in the early 1980s before being signed to WCW in 1993, where he had 4 World Television Championship runs. Regal had several runs in WWE over the years, initially as the Forgettable Man's Man character before hitting his stride after getting sober, and having runs with the WWE Intercontinental and European Championships, as well as winning the 2008 King of the Ring tournament. His WWE autobiography, Walking the Golden Mile, is among the most underrated wrestling books of all time. In 2014, Regal began focusing primarily on WWE's developmental, appearing on screen as an announcer and as the NXT general manager, but behind the scenes, he had risen into one of Paul Levesque's trusted lieutenants, eventually given the official title of WWE Director of Talent Development and Head of Global Recruiting. Regal was regularly traveling to major independent events to help scout talents and bring them into the WWE fold. He was a major sounding board for talents inside and outside of WWE, and was pretty much considered to have a job for life until Vince McMahon dismantled the Paul Levesque black and gold vision of NXT. With YouTuber CoffeeZilla making a video on Logan Paul's CryptoZoo project being a potential scam, Paul has now responded and suggested a lawsuit is coming. You still published a defamatory hit piece, fully knowing that I was innocent, just so you could enrich yourself in your $10 million studio. Sharp, but deeply unethical, dangerously misleading, and illegal. I suggest you use the money you get from pumping your Patreon to hire a good lawyer. You're going to need it. You have used my name for views and money. He is a lopsided journalist with an agenda. When it comes to a potential return to WWE for Naomi, Brian Alvarez noted during Wrestling Observer Live that they're not going to New Japan, Naomi and Bayley. Of course, there is no official information on Naomi, but my impression is she will be returning to WWE. Actually, you can report that my belief is that she will be returning to WWE because she will certainly be returning to WWE. I will just say that. Other than that, I don't know what is going on. With the former WWE star previously known as Sasha Banks debuting in New Japan and set to challenge Stardom champion Kairi Sane, apparently the AEW roster is expecting Mercedes Mone to head to the promotion. We're told that upon arriving in Japan, Mercedes has been out socializing and in good spirits based on those that we spoke to. There were attempts from media outlets to land interviews, but we're told that would be up to Mercedes herself if she wished to do them. In speaking with some names in conjunction with the event, they know that Mercedes will be there, but still have not been told what exactly she's doing, as it's been kept very quiet. There are even other talent that spoke to her, and she didn't tell them what she'd be doing. Talent that Fightful speaks to in AEW tell us they've been no-sold when asking about Sasha Banks being Saraya's partner, but they're still of the belief it's her. The fact that it wasn't shot down either on screen or internally, promoting it a month out, it being a week after her Wrestle Kingdom appearance, and the cast of characters involved in the tag match were all points brought up to us by talent in the company when assuming it was her. However, one talent said they didn't believe a deal was done or could have been completed as of last week because of her contractual ties to WWE. Mercedes would also explain why she decided to attack Kairi at Wrestle Kingdom. I'm interested in many wrestlers, but the reason I decided to fight Kairi in the first place is because we have a past. February 18th, San Jose, New Japan. I think it will be the best match in Stardom history, so please look forward to it. And this was your Pro Wrestling News Update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later.